Hi and welcome to a short presentation of SharePoint LMS for use within the education segment. We're here situated at the front page of the LMS. We are signed in as Annie Mac, being a student, and on the front page of the LMS we have had free hands as SharePoint administrator to decide what needs to go onto this page. In this case, we have decided to have an overview of the courses that are relevant to Annie over here, a welcoming text, we have added a picture, we've added some modules from the web parts, my grades so the student can see their grades straight here, my assignments, you can see your assignments straight here, Dropbox so you can see the Dropbox messages, my announcements, which is collecting all announcements from all the classes I'm participating in, English as a foreign language part 2, and also English as a foreign language in this case. Also, we've chosen to place the calendar view here on the front, so I can see all my calendar appointments from all the courses I'm participating in as Annie Mac. Finally, down here we have my courses, again listing the courses, and this particular web part, for instance, could be placed on my site for the student to access the course directly, or onto your intranet in case it's based on SharePoint. Now, following this quick overview here, let's just see what I as a student, Annie Mac, can actually do from here. First of all, I have my grades, so let's just have a look at them. English as a foreign language, I will open it up, and I as Annie Mac can see my grades from this particular class. I can see that I passed the lesson 1, I can see that QuizMe gave me an A, and so on. Let's just close it again. Let's have a look at English as a foreign language part 2. This is the one we're going to look at today. We see that we have no grades so far as Annie Mac. Here I can also go to my assignments, and I can actually, as Annie Mac, see that I have 2 active assignments. I have one that's overdue, there's none that's closed, I have one due this week and one due next week. So altogether 3 assignments. Let's have a look at the one that's due this week. Click here, it says hand in your English report. I'll open it up. I'll now see that I need to hand in my English report. Due date, it's not started, and it's coming from English as a foreign language part 2. Now, I've done this report already and want to hand it in as Annie Mac. So I'm just going to click here on hand in your report. It will take me straight to the assignment. The assignment is here from my teacher, hand in your English report, and there's a short description of it as well. So I've done this in a Word document and now want to attach it. So I go to the edit button up here. I get a field where I can fill in my comments. Here is my report. So now I want to attach the report. Now I place that on my desktop. So here on the desktop, I'll click here. I'll just find the assignment. It's right here, English report Annie. So I'll attach it, say OK. And now basically I'm ready to submit my assignment. So I get the chance to submit it down here, or save it as a draft if I don't want to hand it in right now. I will submit it. So I'm submitted, and now I'll see that actually I have handed in a picture of yourself, online submission, it's not started, and the one that I just did is actually submitted. So now it's closed for me, and I cannot do anything until the teacher has seen it and send it back to me. So let's just go back to the LMS front page by clicking here, and now we're back on the front page. So that concludes the main page of the SharePoint LMS. So from here we can access a number of information from various courses that we're participating in. Let's now have a look at one of the courses, English as a foreign language part 2. So I'll go here and click on here. I'm now in the course, and I have a main page on the course. So we'll see it here. Welcome to the course. There's a lesson. I have a number of tools over here which can be decided by the teacher of the course. Which course tools do you want to include for your students? In this case I only have a number of them. I have down here the lessons that I need to complete. I can see my co-students over here. I have my assignment part again. I have announcements that's listed down here, and I have calendar appointment. So these are the number of web parts that I can choose to place on. Now in this case the teacher actually has the administrative rights, so they can decide what they want to put on here. Once the course is designed, it can be saved as a template and be reused for later on, meaning that it's much easier to get started with a new course. As Annie Mac, I want to go in and complete some lessons. So let's just go to lesson number 1 to show you how that works. I'll do a new attempt here straight from the main page. So I get straight into what we call a learning path. Now, a learning path is a way to give structured learning to your students. So there's an overview here first, then I'll click on next, and now I'll move into the actual learning path. We'll see over here on the left side that there's a table of contents, so I can actually see what I'm going through. And the first thing I have to go through is a story about two brothers, Jim and John. And here's the explanation on there, and further down, there. These 3 words and the difference between them. So once I read through that and understand it, I'll go to the next one. Now here my teacher has decided that I need to go and have a look in a dictionary, so I'm going to click here and open up the dictionary in another page up here. Once I've done that, I can go back and I can go to the next step. So here the teacher wants me to download a document from Word. So in this case I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to go annul on that. Once I've read that, I can take the next step. The next step in the learning path here is a quiz to see if I understood the things that I was taught. So I have to match these up. Today they're happy because their bikes are over there. So this is listing a number of different question types you can post straight from the LMS. And there's another one here. This is Bob. He is a doctor from the drop down list. There's another one here. Meryl Streep is an actress, so I need to fill in the blank. There's something about matching up here, so there is there are. There is the place. Sorry, there is the place, and there is. Also, I can ask a true or false question. So, have you ever been to New York? It's correct English. And again, there's a drop down that I have to choose from. Select the correct word. It seems that there are many people here. And select the correct answer again from the drop down. I see their friends are there. And these questions are actually posed in random. So that means that next time I come back, they will be in a different way presented to me. There's also an option to have a hotspot here, so I have to point here on the picture to get it right. And there's another way of asking the question, which is multiple answer. Select the correct possible option for the following phrase. She said she meet me in the restaurant. That would be will meet me, would meet me, or won't meet me, but not would. Now I'm finished, so I'll click finish. And immediately it will tell me the quiz is finished and I'm free to leave, so I'll go finish here. And as the final step here, I will then go, I passed the quiz, I can see, and as the final step I'll go next, and then I need to complete a short survey because the teacher would like to know how I found the course. So in my case I found it to be a 4, so I'll go 4 all the way down, and I say I enjoyed it, that's fine, and then I go finish. So I'll click on next, I passed the survey, and now I passed the learning path. You passed the learning path and click finish to go to results. So now I'm actually back at the front of the course, and I can take the additional modules down here and continue my way through. Underneath here in assignments, I see the same picture as from the front page, but only this time from the course. So I actually see due next week, I have to hand in the picture, and there's nothing due this week because I already completed that from the main page. So this is one of the ways that the students can work in the system. Quite simple. You can get them to access information through the web parts. You can also get them to access them through the tools. So let's just have a look at the learning path. As a student, what can I see? I'll go to learning path. And here I can see all the paths that I can go through. So if I just take this one that I just completed, I can start it again, or I can see all my attempts. So if I want to see my attempt, I can see attempt 1, AnyMac, I finished it, and I passed it. So this way I can see learning path and quizzes. I can also see documents that the teacher found relevant for me, so I can actually go to the document folder, and here there's a number of documents which I can use as a student because the teacher is presenting these to me. So as a teacher, you can also refer assignments to these documents. This completes the short introduction to the system as a student, how to access some of the tools, and how to hand in an assignment. And now we want to move on to accessing it as a teacher. So going to main LMS again, and now I will sign in as a teacher. I'm now signed in as the teacher on the same page as AnyMac was before, and now you see that it's changed, so I only see English as a Foreign Language Part 2 because I'm a teacher in that, and only that. Also, all the web parts has changed, so the information is relevant to me. So I only see grades from English as a Foreign Language, but I actually see for all the learners that I have in this. I also see all the reports, so now I have 27 that's active, 1 is ready for review, and 13 is due this week. So if we just start with due this week, there's hand in your English report, and I see a lot of these are not started yet, so let's just see the one that's ready for review. I'll click here, hand in your English report, and it is AnyMac that has completed that. It's submitted, so I can now go to this directly as a teacher and start editing her assignment and actually give her a grade on this. I don't want to do that from here, but I'll show you from the actual course how I can do that. So also, again, all the web parts are the same, but obviously it's representing information, or it's presenting information for me as a teacher now. So I will just go now to the actual course, English as a Foreign Language. So now I'm into the course, and you will immediately notice that I have a number of tools listed over here, and it's more than Annie was seeing, because I as a teacher decided which tools I wanted to show to my students. I see again the lessons down here, I see assignments, and I see all my learners over here. So I can actually go and check out the assignments through my calendar module here. So if I want to see AnyMac's assignment, I'll click here on assignments. And in here, there's hand in your English report. I'll click on that. And it now gives me an overview of that, and I can view all learners' assignments. So here, I get a list of all the assignments that are here, and I see the one that was on the front page is here. So let's just say that I want to edit that. So I'll go here to hand in your English report. I'll get it up here. It's AnyMac who's handed it in. So Annie's writing, here's my report. I can see it here, and I can download it if I want to do that. I'll go edit the item. We will now assume that I actually did read it, and I actually did like it. So I can give a comment down here, and I can give a grade because I actually did the assignment with grades. So I'm going to give her an A for this assignment, and I can write her a comment back. Well done, well done, Annie. And now I can actually approve this. I can also save it as a draft if I want to send it later, so all the students get their assignments back in one go. So I'll go approve on this. So now this is completed as a status, so I can actually track and see where are all the assignments, what's the status of them, and so on all my students. If I want to give out an assignment, I will actually just go to assignment here. Then in the calendar view, I will select item, and from here I will then go to new item. I can then decide if I want to give an assignment with grade or without grade. So in this case, let's just do it without grade because we saw the one with grade before. So I'll go in here, and here I have the option to type in a title, decide which kind of submission it is, give a location if needed, an opening date, when should the assignment be accessible for the student, a due date, when should it be handed in, a closing date, now you can't hand it in anymore, a description. I can obviously also attach files to it if I want to. I have some calendar views down here. I can assign it to all the learners or just selected learners. If I assign it to selected learners, I can look them up down here, or I'll just type them in and check the names. I'll just go for all learners in this case. Down here I can get notification when the assignment is returned, and I can also show the task now. So even though the student cannot access it, they can actually see that it's coming. So I'm going to do that, and then I just go save. Now I will push out this assignment to all the students, and they will see it in their assignment calendar, so they can actually start working with it. We're just going to go cancel here, and then go to one of the other tools. So let me go to the front page. So we're back here on the front page now, and what I want to do next is I want to actually review some of the quiz results that Annie was tasked on before. So I want to go to the quiz module. I see the quiz me. I know this is the quiz I placed into the learning path. I want to see all the attempts, and here I can see that I did it myself. Mary Jane Stevens did it. She also scored on all the answers correctly. Joe Smith did it, Chris Evans did it, and Annie Mac did it. So this is the one that we did before. So if I scroll out here, I can see that Annie got 90 in score, Chris got 70, and the rest got 90 also. So this way I can actually get an overview of how did they score in the quiz. This can be an indication of where we need to do something in the curriculum. If all of them are scoring low in some particular area, it could be an indication that we should readdress that. Now let's just have a look at learning path and quizzes. How can we build that? We looked at assignments, which is one of the main tools. So let's have a look at how we can build a learning path. Before building a learning path, it's a good idea to consider what you would like to include in your learning path. You have a number of options here. You can actually include documents from the document folder. You can include links from the link folder. You can include quizzes from the quiz tool. You can include assignments that we already looked at, and a number of other things. So before building a learning path, you might want to add some documents to your document folder, build some quizzes, add some links, etc. So let's just have a look at these tools first. Document folder. We already saw as a student that you can access these documents that is uploaded by the teacher. As a teacher, you have further options here. You can go to documents, you can add and upload documents this way from your hard disk. You can also add new documents through this tool. So you can add documents here, wiki pages, etc. You can even link to documents in a central repository or link to multimedia in a central repository. By doing this, you make these accessible through the learning path also. On links, if we just click on that, you have an option here to add links that are relevant to the course. So if you go to item, add new item, you then have a chance here to go and give it a title, give it the link, give it some notes, start date, end date. You have this for virtually all things that goes into the system, as SharePoint is also a content management system. So if I want to add something here, I can do that. I already have a number of links, so I can make use of these in the learning path I'm going to build for you. Quizzes. Here we have some quizzes. We already saw Annie Mac took Quiz Me. There's another one here called Last Tile Test Quiz. If I want to create a quiz, I simply go to Create. Here I can create a quiz. I can create a question pool, which is questions that can be pulled out of the pool for various quizzes, either in this course, or we can create a question pool as a central place where we can, as teachers, go and collect questions for our quizzes in our individual courses. We can also create a survey. We also saw that in the learning path with Annie Mac, so we can get some feedback from the students. In quizzes, I'll click here. The first thing you'll do is you give it a name. So let's just give it a name saying demo quiz. We can give it a description, test quiz for demo purpose. Then we decide if we want to launch it in the quick launch path. That's the one out here, so we don't want to do that under normal circumstances. We choose if we want to use a scale set for it, and if we do, we look up the scale set we want to use. We can have multiple scale sets if we want to. We can also just use a numerical version of this. So if I click here from 0, so if I click here on numerical and say from 1 to 10, then that will be the one counting for the quiz. I can then show grades, show percentage, or show combined view to the student as a feedback. So we'll show percentage in this case. I can decide how many attempts can they have. I can decide a timeout on the attempts, so they only have 1 minute, for instance. And then I have a number of things that I can show during the process of the quiz. I can also set timeout between the quiz so that they cannot take the quiz, for instance, within 1 hour from attempting the first time. I can decide that questions will come random. I can decide what goes in the grade book, last attempt or best attempt. And then I can have some advanced scoring. Furthermore, I can stick it to the workstation if I want to, so they can only take it from one workstation. I can have some feedback templates. I can run a certificate on the individual quiz if I want to. I can do some publishing where I say it's only valid for a certain period of time, so as soon as it's not within that date range, it will then be not visible for the course participants. Once I've done this, I can actually set OK, and now I have a chance to put in some different question types. So I'll give it a name saying first question. I then choose which kind of question I want to ask. So there's a drop-down ordering, there's a free text answer, there's a true and false, there's a multiple choice, short answer, multiple answer, hotspot, matching, gap fill, calculate, and then I have a page separator so I can separate the questions into more pages. For this purpose, I'll just take multiple choice to show you some of the options that we have here. The screen will change now, so I have an option to add a question. So if I want to add a question, like say very simple, what is 2 plus 2? Then I have down here option to add my choices, so it could be 4, which is the correct answer. I'll then add 3 also, and 5 here. Now I have a number of choices here. I can mark the one that's correct, which will be 4. I could say, in this case it's not so interesting, but I could say 3 is almost correct, so I would give 80% of the scoring for that, and 5 is not so correct, so I'll only give 30% for that. So down here I decide how many points do I want to give to the student. If we use percentages of that, it's a good idea to start on 10. We can make it a mandatory question, meaning that if the student fails on this particular question, they fail the quiz no matter what. We can give feedback settings on individual questions if we want to, so we can actually have positive feedback, well done, negative feedback, not so good, read this chapter again, semi-positive feedback, also possible, and also in the quiz we can have some hint settings. So if I choose to give a hint to the student, they get a link with beside the question. If they click the link, then they get the answer that I'm giving them, so that I help them with the question, and then I can decide down here that it's going to cost some percentage of the points that they get. So I could say 50% is going to cost you, and then I can go OK. And then I get back to this page. So if we just ask or answer here question 2, and then we choose a true and a false, and question is 4 plus 4 equal to 8. That will be true. 10 points again, and we can go to next. And now I can basically build up the number of questions I want. I get another question page, and I can fill in the questions. Once I've done with all this, I will go cancel or done, depending on which screen I'm in, and now I have the quiz here. So if I move back to quiz tool, I now have the demo quiz here. So if I click on it, press on start, I get to my first attempt, I can go next, and here it is. What is 2 plus 2? It's 4. Is 4 plus 4 equal to 8? Yes, that's true. So I go finish, and now I get the 10 that we decided on as the maximum because I answered both of them correct. So that's very short on how you build a quiz. Going back to the main page, and from here I go to learning path. Now we're in the Learning Path Creator, so here we have a number of options. We can go into Create. We can create a learning path, which I'm going to do in a moment. We can upload a SCORM package, which is a learning package prepared outside the LMS. And we can upload an LRM package. So let's try to do a learning path. I click on learning path. I give it a name, so demo learning path, description for demo purpose. And here we can then further on stick it to the quick launch. We don't do that. We can write a long description, which is the description of the learning path when you open it, and we can write a completion message. So we can write welcome here, and we can write well done here. We can decide on how many attempts the student can have. We can decide on a timeout between the attempts. We can also show again in the gradebook the last attempt or the best attempt, and we can skip the description page if we want to. Sometimes that's a good idea. Certification, we can also certify on the individual learning path, and again we can decide on the publishing. So we're not going to do that here, just click OK. Next screen that's going to come up will allow us to enter some content into the learning path. So here we can enter AICC package, an assignment, a chapter we can make, some content, document we can upload, files we can upload, links we can attach, LRM packages, we can include a quiz, we can include a SCORM, and finally we can include a survey. So if we just want to do some content, we click here on content. We get a page up here that matches that, so we can give it a title for the demo, and then we can write in some content here. We can give it a parent note if we want to, so that is matching it to a chapter, so we can create a chapter also here. We can decide on some prerequisites. We're going to get back to that in a moment. So we'll go next page, and here again we can add some more. So if I add a document this time, I will then have the chance to go to my document folder, which is the document folder of the course, and here I can choose, for instance, a PDF file. Say OK. So now it will add the PDF file to the learning path. Now I can use prerequisites. Here I can say that for reading this document you actually have to see the demo first. The first we included in here. We go next, and now we want to include a quiz just as an example. Click on quiz, and then we can go do the demo quiz we just did. We say that you need to get it 80% correct in order to pass in this learning path, and it's going to be the last attempt. Again, the parent note refers to a chapter if we want to have that, and we can say prerequisites. You have to have seen demo and the PDF before being able to take the quiz. So now we just click OK, and then we created the learning path. So here's the learning path down here. Here's the settings up here. So we go back to click learning path, and here we have the test learning path, demo learning path. We'll start it. So it's saying welcome as we wrote. I'll go next. Here it states the text about SharePoint LMS. Once I read that, I can go next. Now I need to download the PDF if I want to complete this, so I'm going to do that. Here's the PDF. Close that and go next. And now we already did the quiz before, so we're just going to do attempt the quiz again so we can see it. It's the second attempt. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. That's true. Finish it. And we get the grade 10. So we go finish. And here, after having seen the quiz is passed, we go next. And then, well done. As we wrote, you passed the learning path and finish. And we have done that. So now we created a learning path, and here's the tracking of it. Last tile took it, I finished it, and I passed it. So with this, it concludes the short walkthrough of SharePoint LMS. There's many more features to see. If you want to see more, you should contact eLearning Force and get one of our local representatives to go through the system with you to get a thorough idea about all the opportunities that there is included in the LMS for use in education segment.